Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place where we really plunge into those hidden stories of the global economy. You know, the foundational bits we rely on every single day, but maybe don't think about much. Today, we're looking at a real unsung hero of motion, the prop shaft.
Oh, yes. The spinning spine.
Exactly. It connects the engine to the wheels. It's that literal link transmitting power. Without it, well, your car, your truck, even heavy industrial machines, they're going nowhere. Stuck.
Completely stationary.
So our mission today is to sort of uncover the story behind the global Propshafts market. It's actually pretty dynamic. We've pulled the key insights, the growth projections, some surprising regional trends. It's all from a detailed report by Cognitive Market Research. And you might be thinking, Propshafts, why should I care?
Yeah.
Because understanding this market is actually a neat shortcut. It helps you get informed about huge global auto trends, industrial growth, even supply chains. It's kind of a barometer, right?
It absolutely is. It's a great point. I mean, the components, they're invisible to most people, sure, but they're so foundational. How their market performs, that really signals the health, the strategic direction of the whole automotive and industrial world.
Okay, let's unpack this then. The overall global market. We're talking serious scale here and strong growth. Our sources put the value at nearly, $7 billion back in 2021?
600 and 838.14 million, to be
Okay.
precise. Yeah, almost 7 billion.
And the path forward looks pretty steep. It's projected to climb past $8.4 billion by 2025
$452 million, huh?
and then surge to almost $13 billion by 2033.
120, $912.3 million. That's quite a trajectory.
It really is.
And that kind of growth, it represents a strong compound annual growth rate,
Yeah.
CAGR of 5.44%.
Okay.
To put that in perspective, it's like seeing an investment grow steadily year after year by over 5%. And what's really fueling this, it isn't just, simply more vehicles hitting the road, although that's part of it. It's more tied to the global push for better automotive efficiency. Think lighter, stronger materials for fuel economy, also greater vehicle reliability, and just increasing production. That's across both commercial and personal vehicles. It's a fundamental market, so its growth really says a lot about wider economic activity.
So it's definitely more than just more cars. It's about how demands on components are changing.
Exactly.
The shift to advanced materials, modernizing fleets globally, all that stuff.
That's the picture.
Okay, now here's where it gets, I think, really interesting. Let's zoom in regionally. One area just dominates, Asia Pacific. The scale and, frankly, the speed of its growth is, well, it's astounding.
It really is the powerhouse.
This region was already huge, over $2.5 billion in 2021.
2,516.44 million, yeah.
And it's set to hit more than $5 billion by 2033.
5,009.96 million.
It's basically doubling.
It is, and that growth comes with a CAGR over 6%, 6.068% to be exact. That's the highest regional growth rate anywhere. And inside Asia-Pacific, you can really see the drivers. China, for instance. It's the undisputed leader. It's projected to grow its share to over $2 billion by 2033.
$2 billion just in China.
Just China. And its CAGR is nearly 6.6%. That's the highest country rate we have in the data. Blistering, as you said.
That's explosive. And India's not far off, right? Showing similar high growth.
Very similar. India's projected to reach almost $1 billion, $976.9 million by 2033. Also with a CAGR over 6.5%, also nearly doubling its 2021 value.
And then you've got Japan and South Korea adding significant amounts too.
Absolutely. Japan hitting over $500 million, South Korea over $230 million by 2033.
It just clearly underscores that whole story of industrialization, growing middle classes, massive increases in people owning vehicles. It creates this huge pull for core components like prop shafts. It really shows that shift in global manufacturing and, well, consumer markets.
Exactly right. And connecting that to the bigger picture, it's not just more vehicles. It's also the increasing sophistication of the vehicles being made in these really dynamic markets. It's a direct reflection of that economic development, the desire for mobility, both personal and commercial.
Okay, so Asia Pacific is booming, driven by that rapid market expansion. Let's shift gears to the, let's call them established titans, North America and Europe.
Still very significant players.
Yeah, they're showing very healthy, very consistent growth, maybe for different reasons, though.
Quite possible.
North America, for instance, nearly $1.9 billion in 2021.
$1,873.65 million.
So projected to reach over $3.3 billion by 2033.
$318.45 million.
That's growing steadily, around a 5% CAGR.
Just under 5%, yeah. 4.987%. Steady is the word.
And the U.S. is obviously the giant there, contributing the bulk of that.
$567 million by 2033 for the U.S. alone. But Canada and Mexico are important too.
Right, Canada showing strong growth, over 5% CAGR.
5.367%, yes, reaching $465 million.
And Mexico also making steady progress, over 5% as well.
5.141%, hitting around $285 million. So solid growth across the board there.
Then there's Europe, also a huge market share, close to $1.5 billion in 2021.
$1,497.55 million, correct.
Forecasted to grow to over $2.7 billion by 2033.
$711.58 million. And its CAGR is actually a bit higher than North America's, at 5.253%.
Oh, interesting. And within Europe?
Well, the UK actually shows one of the stronger growth rates in Europe, surprisingly perhaps, around 5.5% CAGR.
Okay. And Germany, with that huge industrial base.
Also significant expansion. Germany's projected to hit over $553 million by 2033, growing at about 5.6%.
Higher still. And France and Italy?
More moderate growth there. France around 4.7%, Italy closer to 4%. Still growing, but not quite as fast.
But here's a surprise. The rest of Europe category.
Yes, that one actually stands out. It has the highest regional CAGR within Europe, over 6.2%.
Wow. Okay, so what does this tell us? We have these mature markets, North America, Europe, growing consistently. How does that compare to the explosive growth in Asia Pacific? What's the difference in dynamic?
Yeah, that's a really important question. Because in these more mature markets, North America, Europe, growth might be less about a huge flood of new vehicle owners like we see in parts of Asia.
Uh-huh.
Instead, it seems propelled more by things like vehicle innovation, new technologies requiring different components, perhaps, ongoing replacement cycles, older vehicles being retired.
It makes sense.
And maybe even a shift towards more specialized or, higher value vehicles. It's a bit different from Asia Pacific, where sheer market expansion and first-time ownership are such massive drivers.
Right. Different economic stages influencing demand for even a basic component like this.
Precisely. How demand evolves depends heavily on the local context.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Let's round this out with the emerging frontiers. South America, the Middle East, and Africa. Still a compelling story here too, isn't it?
Definitely. Still significant growth.
South America, for example, projected to more than double its market size. It was just over $430 million in 2021.
$430.8 million, yes.
Set to hit nearly $956 million by 2033.
$955.5 million. That's a healthy CAGR too, around 5.6%.
And Brazil leads the charge there.
Brazil's the biggest player, yeah. Growing at nearly 5.8% CAGR, set to reach over $340 million. And other countries like Argentina, Colombia, Peru, Chile, they're also showing decent growth.
Yes, reflecting that increasing demand for automotive parts right across Latin America. Growth rates generally between 5.1% and about 5.8%. So quite dynamic.
Okay. Now the Middle East.
A bit of a different picture there. Recorded about $340 million in 2021.
$341.9 million.
And set to reach about $580 million by 2033.
$581 million. So still growing, but the rate is slower.
It is. It's the slowest regional growth we noted in the report, around 4.06% CAGR overall. Still represents significant expansion in dollar terms, though.
And Saudi Arabia is the biggest market within the Middle East.
Correct. Forecasted to reach about $240 million by 2033, growing at roughly 4%. Other countries like the UAE, Turkey, Qatar are in that 3.8% to 4.5% range. Egypt slightly higher.
Interesting. And finally, Africa.
Africa is expected to nearly double as well, from about $178 million in 2021.
$177.79 million.
So again, around $336 million by 2033.
$345.7 million. That's a CAGR of about 4.5%. 4.468%, yes. So solid growth again. South Africa's the largest contributor there, expected to reach about $140 million.
And Nigeria and the rest of Africa also play important roles.
They do, reaching roughly $87 million and $106 million, respectively, by 2033, with steady growth rates, again, hovering around that 4.5% mark.
It really is fascinating to watch this unfold across such different stages of economic development. Even where the growth is, quote-unquote, slower, it still represents a pretty big market expansion.
Absolutely. And it underlines the fundamental nature of these parts, doesn't it? Regardless of the economic stage or the specific regional drivers, mobility and industrial activity, they just consistently drive demand for power transmission.
So bringing it all together, our deep dive into this cognitive market research report, it paints a really clear picture, and honestly, a promising one.
Mm-hmm.
This global Propshafts market is on a very steady, multi-billion-dollar growth path. It's essential.
Can't move without it, literally.
Right, and we've seen it's fueled by rising vehicle production overall, yes, but also continuous automotive innovation.
Lighter materials, high-strength
Yeah,
alloys.
and just ongoing industrialization around the world.
Mm.
Asia Pacific is clearly leading that charge with incredible expansion. Europe and the Americas showing that consistent, healthy growth, maybe driven more by innovation and replacement.
Mature market dynamic.
And even the emerging markets are adding significantly. It just shows this broad-based demand everywhere.
And what that means, really, is the future looks pretty solid for both the OEMs, the original equipment manufacturers making parts for new cars, and the aftermarket suppliers,
Yeah.
providing replacements and upgrades. It reflects a global economy that just keeps needing efficient, robust transportation.
So, wrapping up, what does this all mean for you listening? Well, as vehicles keep getting more complex, more efficient, and global demand keeps rising, how might the evolution of a component like the prop shaft shape the next generation of transport? Think about it. How might it impact, say, the quiet efficiency needed in EVs or the really precise power delivery for autonomous driving, even if there's no traditional engine? Interesting thought. Will we see totally new ways of transmitting power emerge? Something maybe we haven't even considered yet. We'll leave you to mull that over.
We spend so much time talking about, the flashy stuff on cars, the engine power, the cool designs.
Absolutely.
But what about the bits doing the real heavy lifting behind the scenes, the parts that actually get that power moving?
And unsung heroes, right?
Exactly. And today, we're pulling back the curtain on one of those,
Yeah.
the prop shaft. Or, well, some people call it the drive shaft.
Same thing, yeah. And it's just fundamental. It's that critical link sending the engine's twist, the torque to the wheels.
Essential. And not just for old-school combustion engines, right? We see them in EVs, too.
Oh, definitely. You find them in a lot of electric drivetrains, too. Basically, anywhere the motor isn't right there at the wheel hub, you need something to transmit that power. It's still playing that key role.
Okay, so for this deep dive, we want to figure out how this seemingly simple part, something that's been around forever, is actually being totally rethought for today's vehicles.
Yeah.
We're going to explore the dynamics shaping its world, things like global car production, the types of cars people are buying, and some pretty amazing new materials.
And importantly, the challenges, too, because it's not all smooth sailing. We have to talk about how electric vehicles are changing the game and what's happening in the aftermarket for repairs and things.
Yeah, good point. The goal is, you walk away really understanding this vital component, where it stands now, and maybe where it's heading.
Especially with how fast everything's moving in the auto world.
Okay, so let's start with the basics then. What are the big picture forces really driving the prop shaft market right now? Like, how does just the sheer number of cars being made globally affect this?
Well, that's a huge piece of it, honestly. Just the overall growth in automotive manufacturing worldwide. More cars and trucks being built means, pretty simply, more prop shafts needed.
Makes sense.
And it's not just passenger cars. Think about commercial vehicles, too. Trucks, vans. That sector's growth is also a really significant driver for demand.
Right. And drilling down a bit, is there anything specific about the types of vehicles people are buying that's pushing demand for more, maybe advanced prop shafts? I'm thinking about how everyone seems to want an SUV or a light truck these days.
Ah, yes. That's a perfect example. The huge surge in popularity for all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive vehicles, especially those SUVs and trucks you mentioned, is massively important.
Why specifically? What do they need?
Well, these vehicles demand prop shafts that can handle distributing the torque really effectively, often variably, between the front and rear axles. That's critical for stability, for performance, especially if you're going off-road or driving in bad weather.
Okay.
So like an SUV built for rough terrain. That prop shaft needs to be incredibly strong, torsionally resistant to twisting and handle heat really well because it's dealing with big loads, sudden changes in power.
So it's not just about being tough. It's about being smarter, more adaptable. And I guess that leads us straight into materials, doesn't it? Because we're seeing this big shift away from just steel towards things like lightweight composites, aluminum.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, lighter weight helps with fuel economy, emissions, all that.
Yeah.
But are there other maybe less obvious benefits these materials bring? Do they solve problems that steel just couldn't?
Oh, for sure. Think about noise and vibration. NVH, as we call it.
Right. Noise, vibration, harshness.
Exactly. Traditional steel prop shafts, especially when spinning fast or under sudden load, can transmit quite a bit of that harshness into the car's cabin. It's just inherent in the material.
You feel it, you hear it.
Yeah. But these advanced composites, their actual molecular structure helps dampen those vibrations much more effectively. It's not just about making the ride feel a bit
And they're
smoother.
more fundamental.
It's a genuine breakthrough in NVH performance, and that's huge, especially for premium cars and definitely for electric vehicles where any little noise stands out because the powertrain is so quiet. It really changes the whole experience inside the car. Quieter, more refined.
That's fascinating. Such a big impact from a part most people probably never even consider.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also heard about a move towards modular designs, customizable systems. How does that help? Is that more for the manufacturers or does it benefit us drivers too?
It's actually a big win for efficiency, mostly for the manufacturers, but that can trickle down. Modular designs mean they can use a core prop shaft system, maybe with some adaptations, across lots of different vehicle models.
Ah, okay. So less bespoke engineering for every single car.
Exactly. It cuts down development costs, speeds up getting new models out there. And this ties into how prop shafts are now being integrated with other advanced tech, things like torque vectoring.
Which is basically sending power smartly to individual wheels for better handling.
You got it. Especially helps in corners, improve stability.
Hmm.
And you also see adaptive performance modules, better vibration dampers built in. These things make the prop shaft less of a passive, dumb pipe just spinning.
And more of an active player.
Exactly. An active part of the vehicle's dynamic control system.
Wow. It really makes you appreciate all the engineering hidden away into the car, doesn't it? We just take so much for granted when we drive.
We really do.
Okay, so given all these advancements, are there other areas, maybe beyond just regular road cars, where we're seeing prop shafts really pushing boundaries?
That's a great question. The off-highway sector is definitely becoming more important.
You mean like tractors, construction gear?
Yeah, exactly. Agriculture, construction equipment, even defense vehicles. These things operate in really harsh environments. They need super heavy-duty prop shafts.
Well, tense.
Ones that are really resistant to corrosion, can handle immense torque, just generally take a beating day in, day out. And as global infrastructure projects grow and farming gets more mechanized, the demand in that segment is definitely picking up too.
So, okay, we've got this picture of impressive growth, innovation, new materials, new applications. It sounds pretty positive.
Hmm.
But every market has its challenges, right? What are the main headwinds for prop shaft makers right now?
Yeah, there are definitely hurdles. Cost is a big one.
The new materials, the fancy tech.
Exactly. Those advanced materials like carbon fiber and the very precise manufacturing needed for them, they add significantly to the cost,
Right.
which makes it tough, especially for smaller suppliers, to compete. And for the big car makers, the OEMs, it's a constant balancing act trying to use these better but more expensive prop shafts without pushing the car's price tag too high, especially on more budget-focused models.
Yeah, I can see that. And then there's the elephant in the room, electric vehicles.
Yeah.
It feels like a paradox. Some EVs definitely need prop shafts, but others might eliminate them completely. How's that shaking out?
It's a really crucial point, and yeah, it is a bit of a paradox. Many EVs, particularly those with powerful motors at the front or back but not at every wheel, absolutely still use prop shafts to get the power distributed.
Okay.
But certain EV designs do pose a challenge to the traditional prop shaft market. Think about systems with motors directly in the wheel hubs, in-wheel motors.
Right. No need for a shaft then.
Exactly. Power goes straight to the wheel. As those kinds of direct drive systems become maybe more common, perhaps for specific things like small urban mobility pods or highly specialized vehicles in the future, then yes, the demand for traditional prop shafts in those specific areas could definitely shrink.
So it's not necessarily that prop shafts are doomed, but their role might change, become more specialized.
I think that's a good way to put it. It's less an existential threat to the whole concept and more a reshaping. It might push prop shafts even further towards those high-performance, specialized applications where they still offer clear advantages over other solutions.
That's a significant shift for the industry to manage. Okay, one more challenge area. What about after the car is sold? Repairs, replacements, the aftermarket. With all this new tech, is fixing a prop shaft still straightforward?
Ah, you're right on the money there. The aftermarket is facing some real difficulties too.
Because it's all more complex.
Precisely. As these drivetrain systems get more integrated, more electronically controlled, replacing or even just repairing a prop shaft assembly isn't like swapping out an old mechanical part anymore.
It's not just wrenches and sockets.
No. It often involves dealing with complex system integration, needing specialized tools, diagnostic software, stuff that maybe only the official dealerships have access to.
Which makes it harder for independent garages.
Very much so. It restricts their ability to do the work, creates a bottleneck, and kind of limits the growth opportunities for those independent aftermarket service providers. It's getting complicated and costly.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. What does this all mean for us, for you listening? We talked about the solid growth in car production globally driving basic demand.
Yep, and the huge popularity of SUVs pushing the need for more advanced high-performance prop shafts. Plus the impact of those lightweight materials composites, aluminum not just for weight, but for things like noise and vibration.
Right, and how modern prop shafts are becoming smarter, integrating with things like torque vectoring, adaptive dampers, really enhancing the drive, safety, even fuel efficiency.
But we also hit on the challenges. The high cost of these new materials and the manufacturing processes. That really interesting paradox with EVs, some needing them, some potentially eliminating them, especially maybe for future city cars.
And the growing complexity making aftermarket repairs trickier and potentially more expensive.
Exactly.
So hopefully you now have a much richer understanding of this component that quite literally drives our world forward. Thinking about all this hidden complexity, this constant evolution in something as seemingly, well, simple of a prop shaft,
Uh,
does that change how you view vehicle innovation? Or maybe even technology in general?
it's a great point to ponder, isn't it?
It really is. It's just a powerful reminder, I think, that even the most fundamental, taken-for-granted parts of any system are always being reimagined, refined, and pushed forward.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps driving progress in mobility.